Team Dignitas going to try and get even closer to the bigger boys by making this one a 2-0. We'll see if JusTus is able to stop that as we get into picks and bans right now. And we'll see who gets first pick, and it's going to be, well, we'll take a look. Is it Team Dignitas or will it be JusTus?
Find out more momentarily as it does load on
Dignitas. It's actually interesting. The reason I posed that question is, if you're just joining us, is Epsilon Fnatic, our game of the week earlier on today. Fnatic actually opted for the second pick, which is something that most teams don't do.
Well, the reason people like second pick is there's a few reasons for it, right? The mid laner can transition from the red buff to mid a little bit quicker if you've got wave clear in the jungle from the support and hunter too. But not only that, you do get 2 priority picks because generally there's 3 gods that are available that people really want to go to. Maybe you give up some Wukong, but then you get Janus and X, or it's the other way. You know, you take the Janus and you give up the Sun Wukong. You get more opportunities being that second pick at the moment.
Same bans coming out up to this point, and with the Sun Wukong ban, very similar landscape.
Well, Janus available again, and once again, Dignitas going to go with the Thor. There's no real change there. Thor just going to be locked in again.
Well, everything going the same. Was it yesterday that we had a game with the exact same pick ban phase?
It wasn't yesterday. It was the Fnatic versus the Titan game.
Yes.
Where they had the exact same pick ban phase up against Dignitas. And actually, it was Dignitas that they did that against, if I remember correctly.
Well, we're on our way there. The first bans have been exactly the same. Athena will throw things off here, though. Athena and Janus selected for JusTus. So Janus will be repeated as Fexez. But again, Frezzy played Athena last time, and I think JusTus agrees with you, Hindu Man. The Athena out of Frezzy has been very strong, and whether or not JusTus recognize that or just want the taunt for themselves, they're going to take it off the board, and Dignitas take Sylvanus.
And Sylvanus has been one of the things that we've seen Frezzy on multiple times. Again, similar composition from Dignitas this time, though. Still the Freya, still the Thor, still a Guardian that can do setups. And it was actually the Sylvanus that was run with the Kukulkan for the route into Tornado combo that we've seen a couple of times so far this split.
We'll take a look at the second round bans, but as it stands right now, Athena and Sylvanus have swapped places, but that's about it. That's the difference between Game 1 and Game 2. And again, Freya, 100% win rate for Team Dignitas. If it ain't broke, Hindu, don't fix it.
Kukulkan is banned out. I did get word, though, I believe that JusTus will be running with their normal new solo laner Sanjo today for JusTus. Covertactican has now, he's not needed for this game, so he came in as a super sub for one game. He did semi-okay is what I'd say. I wouldn't say it was a super sub, but it was a sub. And now they're going to go back with Sanjo, and that is where we could see that Guan Yu go into that solo lane.
Guan Yu we've seen him be played in the jungle a number of times.
And support.
And of course, support is his old spot. We've seen a lot of play in both support and the solo lane. Guan Yu can do many things. Tyr, a character that also used to find himself in the jungle, but now mainly a solo god. Poseidon will, of course, be in the mid lane.
Yeah, Poseidon this time around for Shadownightmare. We said it's a little bit similar to Kukulkan and the play style.
It's so similar to Kukulkan.
But it doesn't do the same sort of damage. Once you leave the Whirlpool for the most part, then you're not taking tick damage anymore. Where Tornadoes you could, his ultimate objective secure isn't as strong.
Right, but the mentality behind the characters, as Habois is chosen for Team JusTus, Habois is a character with super burst, and to me, I don't think we're going to see the Habois jungle as much as I would love to see it.
That's Guan jungle.
I think we're going to see the Guan find his way into the forest.
I think that's Guan jungle. Habois versus Tyr in the matchup there. Habois can control this for the most part. A lot of poke pressure onto the Tyr. Tyr's going to have to sustain a lot in this one, and it is going to be...
There it is. Solo Habois.
It is. Is it?
So here's something... Yes,
I'm not
Sandra.
certain. No, Qiwen's playing Guan Yu, so Qiwen's support. Xephyr is the jungle Athena. Okay, jungle Athena with Steel Mail start? Interesting.
Very interesting. We don't have a single Bumba's Mask on the side of JusTus. The Habois will wait things out. This is a standard play. We usually see this out of the junglers. But essentially, you want to get as much juice out of that magical power pot as possible. So by delaying the time you pop it and leave the base, you can actually wait it out. And it is going to be a jungle Habois. We have the Bumba's Mask on a line for Habois. So here's the idea behind behind this jungle character is essentially high damage, surprise, I'm here, you're dead.
Well, it makes some sense now because Xephyr went for Steel Mail too, and I'm like, how is he going to jungle with that, first of all? But Xephyr is the normal jungler for JusTus. Just to be clear for those at home thinking I was wrong, he is the normal jungler. He's going to be playing solo this game, and they're bringing Sanjo into the jungle to play Hebo.
Now Jungle Habois is it's a very interesting choice. Habois, of course, has not been powerful or popular in the meta for a long time, and when he is picked, normally finds himself either in the mid or the solo lane. Probably the most popular Habois player is the best, who has played both mid and solo. Do you know who popularly gets credit for the original Jungle Hebo?
The original Jungle Hebo. No, who is
our
it?
very own Lionheart.
Ah.
Ex-caster, now big lawyer man here at hi-rez. He was one of the first people to pull that play out. That shows you how long ago Jungle Habois was a thing. So again, the idea out of Hebo out of the jungle is just large burst, surprise, and then kill people, because that's basically all this character does.
Well, I mean, with Speed Buff, he's going to be a little bit more mobile, which is one of the things Hebo kind of suffers from. I mean, he has the Atlas of the Yellow River, otherwise known as Wet Paper.
The Wet Paper!
The Wet Paper. Days of old. I've been able to say that for a while. I was surprised he didn't go against Tyr, though, because for Tyr, he's not a terrible matchup for him. You can poke him down quite consistently and keep the pressure on. But instead, they tried to mix it up with this Guan Yu support.
I actually I'm a fan of the Jungle Habois. I'm excited to see this. Usually we see it coupled with Blink, so with the Blink nerf, it might hurt a little bit because, well, Atlas of the Yellow River is very loud as you lay it down. You're going to telegraph your gank if you do so. You come into the lane very slow. You pop him up. But the idea behind Habois, what a large part of what makes him good is that you largely can't Aegis his damage. What happens is he'll use Water Spout to knock you in the air, and then follow up with the ultimate or water cannon. And since you're already in the air, you can't Aegis that damage, so you're just going to eat it.
And here's the aggression again. You can see that Water Spout doing some damage onto him as well, just to put the pressure on, followed by the Water Hands too. Now, Crushing Wave as well is one of those abilities that very good at ending games, but Kraken onto Sanjo. He stuck there too long in the mid lane. He did not respect the fact that another Water God had a pet.
2 minutes off of the magical power potion for Habois. That's going to be a little bit rough. And unlike Cyclone Spin, he won't be purchasing a second one.
That was just a small misplay by Sanjo not recognizing that Poseidon was 5. Because he sat there and went, "You what, mate? I'll fight you." And when he went, "Well, I've got Kraken." And it was like, well, that was a whoops.
And that's the difference between a level 4 and a level 5 Poseidon. The Kraken just so potent. Quite the opposite here over in the solo lane when it comes to variety on this tier.
He could probably kill that, but I don't think he's going to play the safer option. I like the call there. Just force Zephyr back to base if possible, or at least leave him very, very injured in this lane. As we tune in with Rens again in the duo lane. Playing Freya a lot just lately. Still undefeated on Freya, I believe.
Freya is it's just a great character. Works out well in the Hunter lane, and Rens has been playing lights out with it. There's just not much more to say besides if you're winning with it, why would you change it unless you're forced to, like Team Dignitas is when it comes to Kukulkan.
The funny thing is that people have left this Freya up for him though. That's the one strange thing. Kukulkan's now been banned away for the first time we've seen against Shadownightmare, but that's not made enough of an impact. Exactly.
Rens has been doing very well, and while definitely being a role player on this squad, he hasn't had this breakout I am the star. So these teams, it's a lesser of two evils. The Freya is undefeated, and right now that's not the case for Xephyr. There's a whole bunch of blue jerseys on this side of the map, and FrostiaK puts the second kill for Team Dignitas on the scoreboard.
And such a good rotation from Dignitas too. I mean, JusTus, they're the one with a Janus on this team here, but the rotation came all the way out from Dignitas very, very quickly, and once again the focus is on the solo lane.
Yep, and it's just a lot of damage, excuse me, trying to keep this Athena down. Want to make sure that when she does make those rotations with the global ultimates, that her impact is lesser than she really intends it to be.
And she's picked up teleport too, so it's getting a little bit of a boon there for Xephyr and JusTus, is that he will be able to ult to get to fights, come and turn up late, and then still teleport back across the map if required to defend his towers.
Team Dignitas still up to their old tricks. FrostiaK is deep into the enemy jungle, making sure Sanjo is even more immobile than usual. He's going to take away the speed buff from
and then they're looking for Xephyr potentially again here, but luckily he might get away with this one. No, he's going to get spotted in the jungle here by FrostiaK once again. Wait for Xephyr to try and get away. Now that dash is down, maybe they'll continue the pressure, but a little bit worried about reinforcements coming, which they were doing.
2 members from JusTus on their way. FrostiaK going to ultimate.
That's just smart play. Just really smart play from FrostiaK.
Oh, and they're going to go aggressive. Flip in, dunk down. Damage onto Fexez coming out from the two members of Team Dignitas that were almost stuck here in the solo lane. But as Sanjo makes the rotation, Fexez takes out one. Shadownightmare a little bit late to the party. He'll throw out the Kraken to pick up the second part of the double kill. And that should save the life of FrostiaK unless Qiwen has something to say.
Poseidon's in a bit of trouble here because Guan, you can keep on chasing with the cavalry charge too. Oh, big wall coming out, but he does manage to get through and find the kill. Shadownightmare does end up falling down there. And for me, I said it was a really good play from Dignitas, and then I went, what are you doing? what are you doing? If Shadownightmare didn't turn up there, everyone would have died for free. And JusTus would have cleaned up 2 free kills, in fairness. But luckily, Shadownightmare turned up at the right time and swung it back.
FrostiaK still here. The lone member from that engagement that did not die on the side of Team Dignitas.
Frezzy, a little bit overextending the enemy jungle now. Going to get slowed by the threshold, and now with Sanjo in tow, he could get slowly poked down. And now with the rotation going from the whole team, he's dead. That was just a, I'm going to die, maybe this will keep me alive. Nope. When you get hit by a threshold, then you've got Alice of the Yellow River chasing after you. You're never going to get away from the mobility of those two mages through the jungle.
Again, why? Because players at home might not really be familiar with this god. He doesn't get played too much in the SPL. Alice of the Yellow River, the second ability coming out from Hebo, not only does it make Habois go faster when he's on it, but it also slows enemies down. So it can be very problematic when you're in these corridors in the jungle.
Oh, Ren's getting a little bit stuck out of position there, but doesn't panic. Through space and time did not connect. Now that's on cooldown. Fexez could be in trouble.
FrostiaK lands right in the middle lane, looking for Fexez. Fexez largely out of mana, and Ren's going to look instead at the Athena that's made the rotation from the right side of the map.
At the moment. FrostiaK does find Fexez in mid lane. Fexez the help of a Kraken coming out from Shadownightmare too. There's double kill goes over to FrostiaK there.
FrostiaK's been making moves, making plans, and it looks like he's carried over from game 1, FrostiaK being our player of the game. In game number 1, he doesn't show any signs of stopping. 3-0 and 3. He's going to help his team grab the Gold Fury.
VoteNBK goes in deep. He doesn't get the Gold Fury, but he did punish them with 1 kill. And Sanjo picks up Renz as he comes out of Valkyrie's discretion. Frezzy on that Sylvanus. Well, he's got to use the trees to his advantage of the jungle to juke out this. But with the wet paper being down, they can continue the chase, and VoteNBK and Sanjo should find the kill now, zoning him to a tough spot.
Sanjo picks up another kill, and that's going to be 2 for him. So his kill count finally matches his death count, 2, 2, and 3 on Habois. VoteNBK gets double tapped. VoteNBK gets spun on. VoteNBK gets basicked. And FrostiaK picks up another one.
Not a whole lot Sanjo could do there to save
Double
him.
fearless.
Now, aggression from Variety. Switches stance, put more pressure on, forcing Fexez through the portal before the second power cleave connects.
Tyr is just such a high-impact character. The ultimate is, well, lackluster. But it doesn't matter because Fearless is so intense. Being able to control 2 players at once while dealing damage and immediately heal up off of them after a stance switch, it's so potent. And Tyr, coming out of that solo lane, able to hit 2, sure, no kills came out of it this time. It's 8 minutes in, Hindu. If that happens a second, there will be somebody to help him out. He'll be doing more damage. Tyr, watch out for him.
Very aggressive game, and honestly, it all started by Dignitas again this game. Looking for the aggression to the solo lane a couple of times here. Even the reinitiations from Dignitas when they get cut out, they're looking to fight all the time. And talk about it now, Frosty's going up again.
FrostiaK has been using this ultimate on cooldown. This time it's going to be more of a satellite. He'll take what's given to him as Qiwen walks directly into his path. Double tap is strong, so is Berserker's Barrage. But a good portal will save the life of Qiwen for an extra 2 seconds as Shadownightmare cleans him up before he gets out of there on the horse. In comes Sanjo, out comes the Kraken, but it won't hit much of anybody. And now here are the damage dealers of JusTus. Sanjo takes 1, but Shadownightmare answers right back, taking out Xephyr. Flip, looking for the Fearless, but the ultimate used defensively out of Habois will save Sanjo's life.
Does find a couple of kills for themselves, but he still, once again, feels like it goes pretty much even, if not into Dignitas' favor, because they pick up the speed buff yet again. Compression, the tier 2 tower on the right hand side. Renz, who wasn't even involved in that fight, got free farm forever, and now he's going to keep pressuring this tower too.
It's so interesting because Freya, split pushing with a Freya is much different than split pushing with a Hunter. With Freya, you're just looking for the experience gain. You just want to grab those minions, because when it comes to the towers, she just doesn't have that ability to take them out.
This is game 2 of this set. Dignitas up 1-0 after honestly putting on a clinic in game 1.
Oh, yeah.
JusTus this time, though, they're looking a little bit better, but they're still down on golden experience.
But see, the problem was in game 1, Team Dignitas would take a mile and JusTus would answer with an inch. Here, it's a little bit closer, Hindu Man. We're seeing Dignitas take a mile and Team JusTus answer with half a mile or even 3/4.
See, I felt that way too, but then when we look at the graphs for a second, we'll be able to see the golden experience. Look at it's a big lead for Dignitas in fairness at 10 minutes in.
Sure.
10 minutes!
No, this is a very large lead.
I mean, looking at the score, you know, the kills, 9-7, I'm like, yeah, okay, seems okay, it's alright, it's only 1 tower down, but then golden experience, there's better farming going on.
The answers from JusTus are just a little bit more powerful this time around. FrostiaK is going to make them answer. Shadownightmare able to take out Qiwen before he gets much of anything done. Through space and time goes right in between the members on Team Dignitas, and FrostiaK puts Xephyr into the ground.
They just kept Fexez on the back foot the whole game, having to run away. And when he's tried to come back in, well, he gets deleted because the rest of his team have already fallen too.
And that's the power of Thor wall. It's not just a stun, it remains still. And more importantly, against Janus, you can't portal through it like every other wall.
Anything that changes the status of a map is always important in the game. Your mirror walls, Thor walls, and her pillars. And Janus portals, obviously, as well. Anything that can open up the map or change it in any way can always confuse and cause issues for an opponent. Covertaccan was that? I thought you said something different. I was like, was it Covertaccan you said?
Yeah, Covertaccan. He just creates that little cave that you can't escape.
I don't miss him at all at the moment. Casting impressed tremors all day. I was like,
I think he's exciting. I think he brings a lot of life to a cast, just like the Tier and the Habwa in this game. Team Dignitas take down the mid lane and wind up with an extra 500 gold.
I love what they did, though. With that mid lane going down, they're going straight to the left-hand side, and they're looking for VoteNBK, especially with the Gold Fury coming up. Even if they don't kill him, they will be able to force enough of an issue.
Again, the Fearless into the power cleave. Looking for more is Variety and friends. Turn around from FrostiaK. He's all alone on the backside, but he does find a way out with the hammer. Everybody just ran away because they knew Shadownightmare was going to unleash it. And when the Crushing Wave came out, we just saw a direct beeline away from the Habwa. So it was the story about the jukes, not the misses. And that's what's exciting to me, is that both teams, well, Team Dignitas obviously with the upper hand, 6K in the lead, both teams seem to be reacting well.
I mean, we said about the jukes, but I mean, Sanjo, to be fair, Sanjo missed his Crushing Wave, and then Shadownightmare panic-ulted because he was like, oh god, am I dead? No, I'm alive. Use my ult quickly. That's what happened between those two. The knock-up from Sanjo went the wrong direction, but will this go the wrong direction? Doesn't look like it.
Dives into 3, picks up the speed buff as he's been trying to do the entire game. Double Fearless coming out from...
You get all the stats for it without having to stack it, and when you're jungling, you're not going to get as long to free farm and pick up those stacks.
You know what Ethereal Staff is to me, Hindu Man? Ethereal Staff to me is the 24-hour diner that you go to because your favorite restaurant's closed. You really want the Warlock Sash. You want all the stats that it gives. But it's just too late. You're not going to be able to stack it up. Sure, he's in the jungle, and that's his excuse. But in lane, you're not going to be able to stack it up. It's too late. You go for the lesser version. You pick up an E-Staff, and you just deal with it. It provides the same idea of the stats, just not as intense.
And then you wake up with food poisoning the next day, right?
Exactly.
Qiwen, under pressure again from Rens in the jungle, who Rens is quite happy to box anyone now. Nearly finished off his core. Gold Fury is about to be gunned by him as well, because they realize Dignitas now, he's strong enough right now, Rens, to fight anybody.
There's no vision coming out from JusTus. If you see these wards around here, they're all, not only are they counter wards, but they're all Team Dignitas counter wards. And FrostiaK, if you're wondering what this ultimate's about, this is what I call a satellite ultimate. He goes up, the vision from Team Dignitas is there on the intersections. FrostiaK goes up just to make sure JusTus is nowhere near the vicinity.
It looks like they're looking for the right-hand side gank onto Variety here at the moment. So.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to jump right back into the action. Apologies for our technical difficulties. Qiwen going to be caught out, and here comes Fexez. Watch Qiwen. He's going to dash around. We just saw this. He's just going to completely just turn everything, and Team Dignitas have nowhere to go. They tried to get him, but Qiwen able to escape.
It was more down to Frezzzy getting that route off, unfortunately, because Lawbringer would have connected from Variety then more than anything else and found that kill. But instead, because they managed to force out Fexez's ultimate and Qiwen's as well, they can look for more.
Qiwen going to be found safe on the left-hand side. And with that, Team Dignitas will send 3 into the lane. with Variety lagging just behind Rens, still
in that duel
in
lane.
the long lane.
Just chilling. I mean, the rest of the team are doing work, and he just wants to farm up and get to that B status, which he nearly enough is out with that core build now finished. FrostiaK going to put down the wall, not find the pull from Frezzzy, but round the backside, keep an eye on that tier because he will get a big fearless if he sees an opportunity.
You know what's interesting here, Hinderman? Team Dignitas, well, Variety going to come around. Sanjo knocks up Variety. And that's exactly who I wanted to talk about. Variety going to draw some of the attention of Qiwen. Down comes FrostiaK, setting NBK a little bit further in the back. Fexez also as well will be chased off, which means this tower is able to be
Rens
onto.
Has now made the rotation over as well. Frezzzy got hit with a big Rapid Terror for himself, but he took a lot of damage and will fall down. The tower on the left-hand side should fall soon, but there's no minions right now. And Dignitas overextending just a little bit here. They've not got to find the tower, and they've got to be careful because JusTus can continue to chase.
Yeah, JusTus looking for the response. Variety going to flip out. Not aggressive this time, but he does get taunted. Largely will be in trouble.
Space and time uses the fearless to juke out, but VoteNBK is there, and he's got to escape for a second, but the finger bangs will come out, and VoteNBK will find it. Now Rens overextended too.
Ooh, Rens tried to help out a teammate, and the stun comes just a hair too late. Sanjo gets credit for taking out Rens there. I think Rens might regret rotating.
Some mistakes from Dignitas there, honestly. I mean, Dignitas were in a very good position there.
Sure.
They overextended the tier 2, got punished for it, and JusTus are trying to make them pay with this Fire Giant.
Doesn't look like there's any vision.
Well, there's no one there either. There's no mobility to get back is the big key. Variety's dead, didn't have teleport available anyway. And instead, JusTus get themselves back into this game potentially with this Fire Giant. Maybe, though, they'll even pick up these 2 kills now unless Kraken does something good.
That's the answer that JusTus needs to make. They get a huge objective, and now they need to clean up the team fight. But FrostiaK is going to try and stop that. Already taking out Qiwen, so no heals on the side of JusTus. But now, FrostiaK surrounded by 4 members. Fexez will just barely miss, but the shell helps FrostiaK get out. FrostiaK picks up 1 and then gets out no problem.
And now Xephyr trying to get escape, does manage to avoid that whirlpool, so didn't get crippled. Variety still wants to continue the pressure and the chase here, but there's nothing more they can do apart from look for the tier 2 tower in response to that Fire Giant. The JusTus just snuck away from them.
This time around, Team Dignitas won't get chased off the tower. Poseidon's basics slowly chipping down the structure. And there it falls, 1,500 gold go to Team Dignitas, who still maintain about an 8,000 gold lead.
That's the key. They still maintain the lead even after the Fire Giant. You can see the graphs, it dipped a little bit in favor of JusTus, but Dignitas still control this game from the outset. One small mistake. If they want to keep improving like they have been this season, they've got to correct those small issues of overly aggression.
Right, and you got to consider that how much power that the Gold Fury, the Gold Fury, but the Fire Giant will actually bring you. Gold Fury is tangible. Fire Giant, you got to sort of guesstimate a little bit, right? How much gold is that Fire Giant buff worth? And even if we go aggressive and say it's worth about 2,000 gold on the side of your team, that's still a 5,000 gold deficit that Team Dignitas, or that JusTus has to really deal with.
But they're trying to do that now with taking some of these towers with that Fire Giant too, which is good.
And what I like from JusTus is that they're in and out. In and out. They pick up the mid and then they walk away. They turn 360 degrees and walk away.
I mean, the one thing is this Hebo jungle is actually working out okay for them so far. 3, 5, and 5. He's not the best /9 in the world, but at least it's positive and it's forcing issues.
Right. And so Variety coming on the side with his Guardian. Rens here. This is fun. Rens looks like he's alone. VoteNBK won't take the bait, though. Dashes defensively.
Good
pull as soon as she lands. Stunned as soon as she lands. Fearless as soon as she lands. Kraken as soon as she lands. Never got a chance to fall down. Variety gets credit for that.
Picked up nicely. Good combination coming out from the boys at Dignitas to find a quick kill on a player that Rens kind of forced because he just banished up at Apollo. They tried to turn it, but now they're looking for more in the jungle. Double tap does not connect. Meanwhile, on the backside, Variety forcing Fexez out again.
Yeah, I love the plan of Rens. Rens went up, looked like he wanted to fight Apollo 1v1, but his whole squad was lurking in the jungle. Goes 1v1. VoteNBK doesn't take the bait at first, but gets the Athena ult. And then, as I said, Team Dignitas just control Athena before she can even do anything. NBK in the air looking to kick down this Gold Fury. He's going to circle before he commits.
Gold Fury does get reset, and still NBK's in the air. Dunks down into 4 members. Wrath of Terror on his face, too. Into a juggle from Variety. Whoa. But immediately the portal will get him out of dangers. FrostiaK chase down Fexez for the second kill.
23 kills on the side of Team Dignitas, and 8 of them are on Thor. FrostiaK, player of the game in game number 1, largely led to his team's victory, and this time around, things seem to be going the same way. Shadownightmare does have 9, though, so it's a combined help.
Right, did just use bring on the backside there to keep the pressure on and just keep pushing them back further. Finally has picked up Blink for the first time in this game as well, which he's not had for the most part, just went for that teleport. And now Dignitas against a team that had Fire Giant, going to look to take the tier 2, but JusTus, they're going in.
Double, triple taunt coming out from the Athena on the side of JusTus. The tower still remains. Again, Team Dignitas does not have a natural hunter or really anybody designed to kill these towers. JusTus able to defend their tier 2. We'll chase out Team Dignitas a little bit, and we'll see what happens as Variety. We'll pause the game right quick. So JusTus here, they're largely making the correct responses. I said before, Hindu, that I liked how game 1, JusTus was responding, but far too little. This game, JusTus was still not responding enough, but it went up. And then we finally saw what I think is an acceptable response, the Fire Giant.
JusTus needs to be doing what I think we saw from Myrmidons earlier on, and look to become a counter-engage team. They seem to do the counter-engages very well, or at least when the enemy team makes a mistake, punish them for it where they can. They stole the Gold Fury in game 1 against Dignitas today, where they punished mistakes from Dignitas. Game 2, they took the Fire Giant because they punished mistakes.
Right.
This is what JusTus should become, I feel, is a counter-engage team. It's where their strength seems to lie at the moment, because in straight up, let's go aggressive, let's be the aggressors, it's not really working out to find them wins. And in straight team fights, it's not working either. Let's look for something different.
Exactly, and that has to go back, you know, all the way into the picks and bans phase, which is why I like this hi-rez choice. Sure, we talked a little bit coming out of the jungle, very aggressive, but when it comes time to team fight, hi-rez, when he goes aggressive, he's usually put in a poor situation. His water cannon is very close range, almost melee, and when you use Crushing Wave, if it doesn't kill, you're all of a sudden on the wrong side of the enemy. So what happens is if you're going to use that to counter-engage, it winds up being fantastic. All of a sudden, your water hands, well, the enemy came to you, so you can water cannon no problem. And now, different story. Crushing Wave, instead of putting you on the wrong side of things, now you're on your own turf. You can use that ultimate swimmingly and have no problem.
It's funny because we're talking about JusTus here, but it's Dignitas that have gone so far. It looks like this could be game 6 that they win if they keep this going. 6 games in a row after defeating LC and Titan. But this is the one that's been closest for a little while, actually, compared to the LC and Titan game. Dignitas played it very, very well. JusTus have given some good stuff, but they've never looked like they were going to win the game, JusTus, to me, is the big issue.
Exactly. JusTus is not laid down and just let the opponent take the game away from them, but they have shown up and provided a little bit of fight, and I think that's important, and I mean that's fun for us, the viewers. This is a fun set to watch. I'm really enjoying myself watching this,
and that's the biggest issue. Like SPL games, normally you think, oh, it's the bottom half of the table, it might not be as entertaining, but this is a really fun game and enjoyable to watch. Enemy versus Elevate is later today as well, and I expect that'll probably be the same way. If it's anything like this EU set has been, we could see the same thing.
Just good old-fashioned good smite here, folks. 23 kills on the scoreboard, 22 minutes on the clock. And as the Gold Fury falls down another time, Team Dignitas will collect their gold, and 57,000 to 46,000. That's an 11K gold lead for Team Dignitas.
Puts them in a very good position for the time being, especially with only the tier 2 tower down on the left-hand side. This Fire Giant respawning, though, is where Dignitas' attention needs to turn to now. They don't want to make a misstep again against JusTus. They want to secure this for themselves and start applying the pressure to end this game.
End the game. Now that's the key here, because, well, obviously that's the key here. But Team Dignitas, I mean, we've seen their inability to take structures. Freya, not a hunter, has problems with it, and normally you'll see that answered with either a you know, Kali or a high attack speed character on the map. I mean, we saw Zelia play Mercury, and that's something Mercury does very well.
But I think
Dignitas, they don't have that there.
You're right, and that's exactly what happened on that tier 2 in the right-hand lane, right?
And the left-hand lane.
Well, they went for kills because that's the only way they're going to get towers for free, because they've not got the ability to clear very effectively.
Exactly. Team Dignitas have to get the kills in order to get the structures. They're not going to be able to, what we see a lot of teams do, they'll create space and they'll push the opponent out while the hunter sticks on the tower, and 7 seconds later there's no more structure. structure. Freya can't do that. What Freya can do is eliminate somebody in just as many pulses, but the structure's a much different story.
I don't think this is the right call, though, coming out from JusTus, just to give up the Fire Giant here. They were all at full health, but VoteNBK's chosen to go for that the dual lane push, take down the tier 1 tower, pushing for the tier 2, but reinforcements will be there soon. I mean, Variety's got teleport too, so he's not really going to find anything. They might even try and make a big play here.
When it comes to VoteNBK, he'll Aegis out. Now watch for the Berserker's Barrage. It's going to immediately get mezzed or well dashed away from. Either way, NBK is going to handle it. Will he stick around to fight the FrostiaK?
Well, FrostiaK should just keep him busy and keep forcing him back so the rest of his team can pressure this right-hand lane. Don't let VoteNBK go back for free. And if he ults out, he needs to warn his team so they can reposition accordingly for the 5v4.
Thor going to aggress onto Apollo while the rest of his team fights up here.
They're going to collapse on Apollo if he doesn't get out soon. There we go. Yeah, he's immediately going to go out. He realized that the team were backing away and was going to potentially get collapsed on. He realizes
that's the communication right there. VoteNBK was totally fine. I think that VoteNBK would have fought FrostiaK. I don't think that he had any problem. And the second JusTus said, all right, Team Dignitas is retreating, that means he gets out of there. It's actually rather interesting. It buys JusTus a couple of seconds as far as how much they have to defend.
I guess, I mean, but at the same time, if he was back in base, he could have looked to defend a little bit easier for a 5v4. It's a little bit more difficult.
The Phoenix isn't down?
But this is the place they want to defend right now. This is what I'm talking about, JusTus. They need to counterattack very well here. Let the aggression come from Dignitas. As long as they don't get hit by this pull, which was a big impact in the little skirmish on the left-hand lane earlier at the tier 2. If they don't get hit by a pull, then it's going to be a hard engage from Dignitas that has to happen. And then they have the opportunity with this Phoenix to turn it.
Minions will be taken out, so Team Dignitas need to wait one more time. But remember what we said, Phoenix is pretty much the same thing as Towers when it comes to being able to kill them. Freya just not very adept at it. Stun, lift!
They didn't find the combo. The pull was stopped, but the taunt is now into Rens, forcing out the beads, which is quite important. He doesn't mind finding much pulse damage, though. Back onto Xephyr, who came in very deep there from that solo lane. Support role to an extent. Second support. So very, to be fair, they've got the Guan and the Athena for the front line, but they've got to wait, like I said, for this counter engage. They went for it then, didn't work out. They got beats though.
Variety can blink behind a person and 180 fearless them. That can push a single member of the enemy team way out of position. It's what we saw. This was the primary build of jungle tier so many moons ago. These days, tier usually fighting himself in the soul lane, as Variety did. Usually don't see the blink. Usually just more defensive. But if you take a look at tier, he's ready to fight.
It's a long siege, this one, because it's like we don't have the wave clear to poke the Phoenix down that easily. There's no minions. Variety, they're blinking in onto Sanjo, gets the beads off him, and trades back a little bit of damage, but he'll be fine with that when the Fire Giant originate. Here comes the minion wave again, and Xephyr goes in.
Taunt coming out onto two members of Team Dignitas, and now FrostiaK's going to chase. FrostiaK gets the kill on Fexez, and that's all before he ults. Dot goes up, must come down. He gets knocked up, and that'll separate two members from JusTus from him. And so they will find themselves safely into the fountain. That said, Team Dignitas get what they came for. And the Phoenix falls on the left side lane.
And that was Dignitas zoning them out so they could just put the pressure on and bring it down. Shadownightmare sat there, broid down with Freya as well. Meanwhile, FrostiaK Variety dived in. And once again, all the team are back, but VoteNBK dives in looking for FrostiaK, doesn't find the kill. Instead, a huge Kraken comes out from Shadownightmare into a big Fearless that deletes another two members of the team.
Xephyr being aggressed on by FrostiaK and Variety here. Walled off. Damage. Xephyr knocked up. But here comes Habois. Sanjo takes out FrostiaK after knocking up two members of Team Dignitas. That'll save his teammate's life. Sanjo cleans up Shadownightmare for the better half of the double kill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is late game Habois. FrezzOO now the subject of everyone's ire as Fexez trying to make things happen. And FrezzOO just going to sit here and waste some time. Water cannon basics. Sanjo gets 3 in that engagement.
Delayed triple for him there, and it was once again the boys of Dignitas going a little bit too deep. I mean, they had to do what they did last time, right? Zone them out. They got a big Kraken, but I think they thought the game was over then when they got that big Kraken off and found 2 kills. In the end, it wasn't to be. They lost their lives, dying to the Phoenix and the minions and the Titan being involved in it too. Didn't work out for them. It buys JusTus a respite again for a second, but it's not going to be enough to bring them back in just yet.
Obsidian Shard picked up on the Habois here, Hindu man. Obsidian Shard versus Spear is one of the oldest living room arguments in Smite. How do you feel about this one?
With this whole Spear versus Obsidian thing, a lot of people are saying at the moment Spear is a better option at pretty much every stage of the game. That's generally how it is.
Mathematically speaking.
Mathematically speaking, yes, it is. But at the same time, if they build an X amount of protections, words are hard, protections, then obviously Obsidian Shard is going to shred through that
Which we're not there yet.
Which we're not at that stage yet, no.
But here's the reason that I like the Obsidian Shard, Hindu. You don't need to stack it up. It just deals burst, and it is 70 power. So what happens is, although Habwa does like to cast multiple abilities, if he shows up on the scene and ults, he gets all of the penetration that that item provides. Spear, he's going to have to, and a lot of the time we do see the knock up into the water cannon into the ultimate, but in that last engagement, we just saw the knock up into the ult. He got full penetration on both of those abilities, allowing him to take out FrostiaK. Didn't have to build up that penetration. In a longer engagement, the Spear will wind up being better. But if he's just showing up to delete somebody real quick, which is what Habwa wants to do, I like the choice here.
For the most part, but then if you look at what we see coming out from Janus as well, he's also gone for it. One of them going for that Spear would have been useful for the team as a whole, just to increase that whole magical damage.
I'll agree with that much.
So, I don't know which one went for it first. I'm pretty sure it was Sanjo on the way, but it looks like we're going to see Fexez looking for the big sniper Renos coming out from that through space and time is one of the reasons you see a Janus go for it.
We're approaching our 30th minute here, about a half hour on the clock. 26-17 read the kills in our second game of Team Dignitas versus JusTus. The first one went to Dignitas, and the second one, well, there's a little bit of smite to be played, but 12,000 gold of a lead lies in the hands of Team Dignitas as they progress into the mid lane.
Realistically here, what they should be doing is just Dignitas should be looking to end. It can be over very, very soon. They're just going to pick one target, delete them, make a 4v5 with the pressure from the minions in the left-hand lane. That should be enough to end this game out. Potentially even split push this up, and they are doing that now with Variety heading to the right.
Variety's going to hang out here and try to surprise somebody like he did to Sanjo before. Forced out the beads on Habwa by blinking and fearlessing. But here comes Sanjo from behind Variety. Water cannon and a little bit of a juke to get the tier in a little bit of some trouble. The tier's already so tanky. Not a big deal for him.
Just the one issue with this comp is just not their ability to siege down towers and phoenixes. And you can feel it's an issue, so they're going to return back to the left-hand side because it has respawned, push the fire minion wave in. They'll take this one at least because it's a weakened one with the fire giant that'll help a little bit, but it may take a few seconds.
Blinking in is Frezzy. Gets two in the air with the ultimate. Whoop, one more time will make the full miss. And with that, VoteNBK will find himself safe. Phoenix is down. Team Dignitas rotates over to the mid lane.
I mean, to be fair, JusTus got away with that one because I don't think they should have even tried defending that left-hand weakened Phoenix. In mid lane, though, they're going to get a big taunt. The wall was good from FrostiaK, though, and a Kraken is even better. It will delete Qiwen, who falls down to Shadownightmare as FrostiaK is now in the sky. Who's going to go on? He was looking for VoteNBK, who's now being hit by Valkyrie's discretion that ends his life too. The Phoenix in mid will finally fall down as well, as only Fexez and Sanjo stand to try and defend the last one.
Dignitas looking for the right Phoenix as well. Whirlpool going to clean up the minions, and the basics coming out from Poseidon and the Guardian are who are going to look for the tower. Everybody else on Team Dignitas going to look for the kills. Janus just barely able to make it out alive, and 3 Phoenixes are down. Team Dignitas press into the base. Xephyr's got 20 seconds, Qiwen's got 10, and VoteNBK's got about a half a minute. This one looking like it's going to go the way of Team Dignitas, and it will. That's a 2-0 for Dig as they take down JusTus.
2-0 LC, 2-0 against Titan, 2-0 against JusTus. The boys at Dignitas, they're looking like they're making a really good run of things. Still got some issues to correct, though. But especially in that second game, the first game looked a lot better. But second game, a few things that they probably should work on. Because worst case scenario, if you don't have anyone to clear towers and phoenixes down, the better teams will punish you for that a little bit more, I feel.
Well, Dignitas this time around didn't have many people in the way of structure destruction, but they were able to absolutely annihilate players. And it all started very early in the game from Shadownightmare in the mid lane, able to pick up first blood for his team Dignitas here. We'll take a look.
And this was just Sanjo.
Surprises.
Not expecting a Kraken. Like, oh, he's 5. Oh, I'm dead. That's basically all it was. It was nothing more to write home about than a little bit of unrealization that he'd hit level 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of level 4 to level 5 when it comes to gods like Poseidon. Kraken, such a high impact such a high impact character. Game number 1 was FrostiaK, and while he had a fantastic game in number 2 as well, Shadownightmare is going to be our player of the game, eking out just a couple of more kills, 11, 5, and 16 on that high impact Poseidon.
Krakens for days is all I can really say about this one. I mean, that pickup at the start there was a cleanup of a fight that the boys over-aggressed, but once again, the Krakens have been on par so far during this.
It's actually very interesting here. Poseidon with the Trident winds up being a lot of the structure damage. If you saw a lot of those fights, Shadownightmare would go in and use the Kraken either in the pre-fight or fire it off on the back end, throw it out a whirlpool, and then hang out in the back onto the structure. So he actually wound up with the second most structure damage in the game, and largely because of it, as we said, the team, when you draft something like this, Hindu, you understand that you don't really have a tower killer, and that job lied onto Shadownightmare.
The way Shadownightmare's playing just lately, though, for me, he's put himself into a top 3 position of EU mid laners, by far. Like, he's playing very, very well for himself, and you can see in the position in most of these engagements, apart from that one where he just died at the end there, which we just missed over, but he's always sat at the right sort of position as his role should be, you know? So it's very important that he positions himself correctly. He's doing well.
He's just been the personification of a rallying cry for Team Dignitas. Even when the team struggled, he was there providing consistent performances day in and day out. And now that the rest of the team is performing as well, we're getting to see that. Some of the more important parts of the squad, FrostiaK most notably, had a fantastic day. And that's who we're going to be joined by, jungler for Team Dignitas. How are you doing today, FrostiaK? Congratulations.
Hello, thanks. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great, actually. You guys played some fantastic Smite, really gave us a treat of a nice set. I've asked, the reason I keep asking this question is because I get a different member of your team every time. The past couple of weeks have seemed completely different. What was the turnaround for your team?
The big part is probably that the 6 teams are going to be invited for the next LAN, and we got the motivation to just keep playing and win more games.
The motivation's working for you guys too, because you just look like a completely different team to the first start of this split. I mean, you guys were 2-10 3 sets ago, and now you're up to 8-10. Pretty good performance from you guys, and it looks like you're just getting better and better as time's going on.
We picked up Deku as our coach, and he's actually doing pretty good work. He's helping us doing the pick and ban stage and pointing out our mistakes and trying to make us be the best.
Excellent. It's so good to see coaches come more in and able to sort of raise you guys up to where we feel the team should be. Team Dignitas, you guys have a tough schedule ahead. Are you planning for the next games yet, or are you still just focused on the week that just passed?
For now, we just wanted to secure our 6th spot, and we still have time to prepare for the next game.
Yeah, you've got a tough week, haven't you? You've got Epsilon and Fnatic next week. Any special plans for them, or do you reckon you can take games off them, potentially?
We expect to win against Fnatic. I don't mind if we win both of the games, but yeah, it's not really something what's gonna happen. Like, I cannot say it's impossible.
Of course.
Last time we actually took the 1 game, and the 2nd game was pretty close. So I look forward.
Awesome. Good to see that attitude there. You guys have been playing absolutely fantastic. You yourself on Thor 9-1 and 18 went absolutely ballistic. So again, fantastic play. And I just want to give you the opportunity. Any shout outs to friends or family out there?
For sure, I would to shout out for our fans, our sponsor, and of course Team Dignitas, and to Rens for banishing our perfect combo on the left Phoenix. It was pretty amazing.
It was very, very good. I was impressed he did it twice as well from what I saw in that game. Time after time. Thanks for joining us, though, Frezzy. Good luck in the rest of the season. FrostiaK, in the rest of the season. And we'll see you. You look similar. You're both Polish, too. It's the same thing.
All right, thank you so much, FrostiaK. Have a great day. And again, congratulations to FrostiaK and the rest of his team. That, of course, is FrostiaK, jungler for Team Dignitas. Now, as Hindu Man said, the last 3 weeks have gone the way of Dig.
They have. Look at that.
And as FrostiaK says, things have changed for him and the team. Team Dignitas now in 6.
3 sets ago, they were 2-10. 8 and 10 now. Look at that climb. Right back up there. And on the heels of Conspiracy and Titan.
And don't forget, 6 teams are now being invited to the Super Regionals. So if we take a snapshot of those standings right now, Team Dignitas would be the team that winds up at LAN. Much more Smite to be held, though. Let's take a look at the games that we're going to see the rest of the day. We've got Cloud9 versus Denial coming at you right next. And then, of course, Enemy and Elevate will close out week number 6.
And then, obviously, we've still got another 3 weeks after that to follow. Minimum. It'll be busy, busy time. We'll be back, though, after this short break and bring you North America on Sunday.
Child of iRes, coming crisis, you're invited to come down. Silver skin cells, simply held in a cradle, hopefully found. And if you're honest with me, if you aren't a liar, then just give me what I need. Tell me where am I I'm so sorry.